The Carrie, Aiden, Big, and Natasha drama is probably the most talked about arc in the show, and for good reason. High drama, flaws, and scandals. And although this arc is talked about so frequently, there's a topic I've never seen discussed. I couldn't help but wonder, what did Natasha see in Big? Hello there, and welcome to my channel where I analyze and talk about TV shows that I like. Around here, the curtain is blue for a reason. There's always a reason. Let's discuss. After Carrie and Big break up in season 2 episode 12 after he revealed that he has to go to Paris for work, but never really factored Carrie into the equation, we later find out in season 2 episode 17, just a few episodes later, that he met someone in Paris, Natasha. The timelines in the show are a little wonky, so if you ever thought, wow, Big met Natasha really quickly, not only are you correct, but your confusion makes sense. Each season in the show is 1 year. We know this because in the first season, Carrie is 32 years old, and in the last season, she is 38. She also says to Big, in the second to last episode of the series, season 6, episode 19, Carrie, listen, it is different this time. Oh, it's never different. It's 6 years of never being different. There's plenty more evidence concerning the timeline of the show, but we'll save that for another video. Fact of the matter is, Carrie and Big break up episode 12 of season 2, and 5 episodes later, he's dating someone else, and she's in New York with him. Big mentions that Natasha works for Ralph Lauren in Europe. Now, obviously, Ralph Lauren has other locations all over the world, so that could explain why Natasha is in New York with Big, but did she transfer? Is she taking a paid vacation, maybe? Big mentions that Natasha's parents have a house in the Hamptons, and that's why they're there, so I'm leaning more towards the vacation theory. This is all happening really fast, and not just for Big and Carrie, but for Natasha too. If we have a look at the weather and the general activities that the girls are doing in episodes 12 to 17, we can safely assume this is late spring, early summertime, especially since in episode 12, Carrie asks Big while he's packing, oh, before I forget, Charlotte wants to do a share in the Hamptons. So are we thinking about it, or should I go in on that? Actually, there's a possibility I'm not going to be here in the summer. Charlotte says in episode 17, my friends are giving us an amazing deal for a cottage in the Hamptons for the month of August. There is no way that Carrie brought up this Hampton idea to Big in January, for example, especially since they had already been on again, off again. It was near the summertime. So just for the sake of this video, to paint a better picture, let's say Carrie and Big broke up in May, a good month to start planning summer outings. Big said that he may have to move to Paris for work for, I don't know, 7 months, maybe a year. So back to this episode. It is now August, and Carrie is shocked to see Big, and he explains that he actually just got back from Paris. So you're just in from Paris for the weekend? No, the Paris deal fell through. So from May to August, Big was able to meet Natasha, and she must have fallen head over heels for him, because a month or so later, she's flying to New York with him and taking him to her parents' house in the Hamptons, and they're having a little vacation together. Was this when Big met Natasha's parents? We're unsure, but we can all agree that so far this is extremely fast. You string me along for 2 years and then you marry some 25-year-old girl after only 5 months? Season 2, episode 18. Not only is this crash out from Carrie extremely valid, say whatever you want about Carrie, I don't care if you hate her, you have to admit that this is insane, and if I were in her shoes, the whole restaurant would also be looking at me mouth off this guy. This is crazy. But back to Natasha. How is it possible that this beautiful woman said yes after 5 months? It can't be Big's money. Natasha works for Ralph Lauren. Her parents have a house in the Hamptons. She's not struggling. She's very financially secure. Now, I will admit that Big probably makes way more money than her, but we don't get any indication that Natasha is secretly hunting for more money or anything like that. Is it Big's looks? She's obviously attracted to him, as many people are. Big has dated a lot throughout the series, but is that truly enough to become engaged in 5 months? I don't think so. Here's my theory as to what Natasha could have possibly seen in Big, and I'd also love to hear y'all's if you have any. Leave it down in the comments. Natasha saw an opportunity to start a family. hear me out. Throughout the entire Carrie and Big cheating with each other arc, something else is going on in our main cast. Charlotte is falling in love with Trey and getting married. Charlotte and Natasha are constantly compared to each other in the fandom, so much that there's a popular theory that Charlotte and Big could have actually worked out, or they could have been soulmates in another life. I actually go into further details about this in this video, check it out. The parallels between Natasha and Charlotte are numerous, but we don't actually know that much about Natasha besides similar styles and wealthy backgrounds to connect to Charlotte's personality. Whenever people compare Natasha and Charlotte to each other, it more so has to do with the fact that they're both very classy, they have a certain look, and they both come from wealth. But there's actually a tiny piece of information that gets overlooked and it gets revealed, and this revelation fuels my theory. Season 3, episode 17, Samantha says to Carrie, "If I told you I had a piece of information about Big and Natasha, would you consider it cosmic connection or just a random act of gossip?" I guess I'd have to hear it first. Natasha left Big. Their marriage is over. She's back to working for Ralph Lauren. Wait, what was that? She's back to working for Ralph Lauren? So she quit her job after marrying Big? They dated, got engaged. After 5 months, they were married for less than a month, and she had already quit her job and became a stay-at-home wife? Now you might be thinking, hey, plenty of people quit their job after getting married, especially if they absolutely hate their job. Financial security is welcomed. I don't believe for a second that Natasha absolutely hates her job at Ralph Lauren. In this same episode, Carrie calls Natasha's office, that's right, her own office, and gets connected to her assistant. "Yes, I'd like to speak to Natasha, please. Carrie Bradshaw calling. What's this regarding?" "It's personal." "Hold. I didn't know how to tell an assistant that it was a matter of cosmic significance." "She's in a meeting." "I'll hold. I don't mean to be rude, but you'll be holding forever." "Okay, then I'll hold forever." Click. Not only does Natasha have a job that provides a great salary and surely a ton of perks, she has an assistant that's literally got her back. That kind of camaraderie at a job is hard to find. We also know in the TV show And Just Like That, that Natasha is still working in the industry. It couldn't have been that bad of a job. I think Natasha quit her job because she was ready to start a family and she wanted to stay at home and start building the nest. Firstly, to compare back to Charlotte, who did the exact same thing. Season 4, episode 7. "I'm thinking about quitting my job." "Did you get an offer from a better gallery?" No, I mean stopping working altogether." "Really?" "Yeah, I've just been driving myself crazy lately, just trying to get everything done, and Trey suggested? He mentioned that maybe I might quit, and I mean, really, I have just been driving myself crazy, and for what? The gallery? What has the gallery ever done for me?" "But you love your job." "I know, but there's so much more I could do with my life." "Like what?" "Well, soon I'll be pregnant and that'll be huge. Plus we're redecorating the new apartment and I always want to take those Indian cooking classes." So Charlotte quits her job shortly after getting married to focus on getting married and sorting out their home. Not only so there's a nursery, but also so that their home is just complete so she doesn't have to worry about it while she's pregnant. We saw Big and Natasha literally looking for furniture in season 3, episode 9 after getting married. She's got her eye on a beige chair. "Everything in my apartment is beige now." Everything in Big's apartment is beige now? So she has been redecorating, just like how Charlotte moved in after marrying Trey and started redecorating the apartment. Now I understand a lot of people don't like the TV show And Just Like That, or they haven't watched it yet, so this is going to be a slight spoiler, but we did find out from Natasha herself that she eventually got remarried and has 2 boys. So she did want kids and she eventually got that future, which is great. Unfortunately, this brings a really dark light on Big and I couldn't help but wonder, is it possible that Natasha and Big were talking about having kids soon when Big started cheating on her with Carrie? Were they in the middle of trying? Did Carrie not only ruin a marriage, but snatch motherhood from Natasha, even if only temporarily? And don't say, no, kids would be way too fast for Big and Natasha. Everything about them was too fast. Why would kids be off the table? When Carrie ambushed Natasha at the restaurant to clear her karma, which honestly, that whole thing needs to be its own video, Natasha promptly tells her off and says that Carrie has ruined her marriage and her lunch. In walks a gentleman, and Carrie gets up to leave, with her inner monologue saying, "As I walked away, I realized my actions had set into motion a karmic chain of events that put Natasha back on the singles market, as if single women didn't have it hard enough." Oh my god, it has been years and I never put it together. Was Natasha on a lunch date? I had always assumed that she was just meeting up with a friend, but you know what? Good for her for getting back out there after a whirlwind of a marriage and divorce. I do have to wonder, what's the hurry? Why go back into dating so fast after Big, especially since everything with Big was so fast? That whole relationship was like a sprint. But if Natasha is eager to settle down and start a family, her getting back out there ASAP after leaving Big makes sense. Back to And Just Like That, another slight spoiler for the first season. When Big dies, he leaves $1 million to Natasha. Carrie confronts Natasha about this, again following her around to get her answers, and Natasha says she has no idea why Big even left her that money. If this is about the will, I've already told my lawyers I will not accept it. Give it to charity. Why did he leave it anyway? I haven't spoken to him since the divorce. So neither of us knows? Classic John, always a puzzle. For whatever it's worth, I think the money was his way of saying sorry. You know, he's a finance guy, he wasn't great with words. Agreed. But in the reading of the will, where Carrie learns that Big left money for Natasha in the first place, he didn't leave any for his first wife, Barbara. Why didn't he say sorry to Barbara in the exact same way by leaving a fat check? He also cheated on Barbara, revealed in season 1, episode 8. I do think the cheating is obviously different between Barbara and Natasha, but not by that much. With Natasha, it was an affair, it was multiple times. But with Barbara, it was with her own best friend. So, never been married? Once, long time ago. Really? What happened? He had a wandering eye, wandered right over to my best friend. So, if he didn't apologize to Barbara for cheating by leaving a fat check, but he did so for Natasha, that leads me to believe that something else was going on. He knew and he felt guilty for shattering her dreams of motherhood. Natasha even said that they never spoke after the divorce. So it is 100% possible that Big never knew that she got remarried and she eventually had kids and became a mother. And don't think for a second that Big would have told Carrie that him and Natasha were trying, or that they had discussed children, or that they had plans further down the line for children. In And Just Like That, it is revealed even more than we already know that Carrie really didn't know a lot of things about Big. She didn't know the password to his computer. She found a phone number in his suit pocket and didn't even know that it was their landline phone number. She found a picture of a dog in his wallet named Gogi, and she didn't even know that he had a dog when he was a kid. A dog who is obviously so beloved that he carries around a picture in his wallet. Carrie saw Big as old New York. He was as big as the city, and he brought the drama, the romance, and the excitement for her. For Natasha, he was someone in similar social circles, someone who swept her off her feet and wasn't afraid to put a ring on her in just 5 months. He was an opportunity to settle down and have a family. Unfortunately, Natasha didn't see the secrets, the lies, and the manipulation. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. What do you think Natasha saw in Big? Do you think Natasha was head over heels in love with Big? Do you think Natasha and Big were possibly thinking of starting a family? Let me know in the comments, and if you have a suggestion for the next video, feel free to leave that in the comments as well. Thanks for watching. See y'all next time.